I felt that, I don't know, I just felt different. Hello everyone, and I hope all has been well, and I hope you guys are safe in your homes right now. For today's topic, I will be introducing to you guys a new series or playlist. So that is, I don't know, let's call it Designer Diaries, I guess. I don't, yeah, something like that. I'm still thinking about it. Before anything else, you guys get cereal or I don't know, food. This is gonna be a chitty chatty video about I guess about where I draw my inspiration from, or how do you actually start, or design journey, something like that. So grab a seat, get your cup of tea or I don't know, water, and let's get started. Design journey wise, it is different for everyone. Your aesthetic does change over time, and it's not a fast process at all. As for me, I know, like, I knew from when I was a kid that I really wanted to do fashion design, and it has been a long ass journey and is still continuing and still growing until now. So like a lot of misconceptions about whenever someone asks me about, oh, fashion design, do I need to know how to draw, or I'm not so good at drawing. That's a myth. uh I have friends who do still struggle with drawing, and that's completely fine. It's a process that you have to embrace, because like personally for me, I still feel that I still have a long way to go with how I want to design. I mean, how I want to draw. And the thing is, there's a difference between illustrating and drawing. Because for designers, of course, it's more about getting your point across. So I would always tell people that no, it's not a need to know how to draw, because you do learn it when you're in school, and you do, because drawing is a skill that you have to keep practicing, and that's how you will learn. So if it helps, for if you do plan to go to a design school or you want to go into fashion design or whatsoever, I would suggest self-study. So it means that it's up to you, but then personally, for me, it meant me looking at different illustrators, me practicing, me doing like mini design exercises, not even like fully making a concept yet, but more of trying to get my design process across. So that will really help you build your aesthetic. When it comes to design aspects, that's also another thing you learn through time. But I would strongly suggest, the more you know, the more broad, or the more broad and specific your designs will get. So as for example, one of the things that we actually did in our MA was to investigate on a specific garment archetype and develop a collection from there. So you study the history. As for me, this is just an example of a design journey that I want to give you guys. So it's like we had to pick an archetype. I chose a trench coat. I had to purchase a vintage trench coat, an authentic vintage trench coat, which dates back to, I think the trench coat I got was about 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. Yeah, 1960s trench coat. And the construction of a trench coat back in the day was very much different. And I had to study the history of a trench coat. How did it evolve from this to this? How did it get from being a staple garment in the trench during the war, when it moved from fields to trenches? And how it became a Hollywood stereotype. When you wear a trench coat, it's like, oh, you're a detective, oh, you're a femme fatale, you get it. And all those types of things. And from there, the more you know, I was able to develop like different types of prototypes from changing the dimensions of each piece, from like the gun flap, making it bigger, or like the storm flap, like shrinking it or making it bigger or adding utility to it. So that's an example of the more you know, the more access you have to designing. Another thing is obviously what helps is research, because it's different when you're blindly designing. That's the difficult part if you're just blindly designing a collection. And that depends if you're the type of business that would run based on, is it based on an inspiration where you want a story to reflect the collection, or is it based on trends? So there's a big difference between that, because obviously if it's based on trends, you would have trend forecasters, you would go to specific sites that are on subscription, and then as a business, that's what you pay. But if you're the type of designer that really goes into like deep storytelling, and like from the colors to the silhouettes and everything like that, then it's more about getting a really specific inspiration. So inspiration wise, it does vary per person. And for me, I get my inspiration from personal experiences, from things I actually experienced, and or like opinions towards specific things, or my appreciation towards like different types of arts that I've experienced up close and personal, and I felt that these particular things should have a light and so forth. But obviously for other people it really varies, but definitely like when you have your own story to tell, then that sets you a good grounding, because when you know your topic very well, it lifts up the substance in your collection. So once you have your inspiration, I guess I will talk about this in a different video of how you can like broaden like the topics. But once you have your inspiration, that's like a starting point. And then I feel that like throughout my MA, it made me realize how you have this starting point, but never, well, I'm not someone who could say never, but then like I tell myself like never restrict yourself just completely to that idea alone, because that will limit you from like different opportunities when it comes to design. So like it's up to you as a designer as well, that when you start researching on something, it's up to you to know when to stop, or when to figure out like, oh, this is going way too off topic, or I'm going to such a completely different direction that I don't really like. So that's really up to you as a designer. But referring back, of course, like the more you know with a specific topic that you really want, the more that you pour your heart out into creating that specific story that you want to convey in the collection, is also all the more it would be easier to pick out different elements that you as a designer will translate into clothes. So that takes a long process, like it takes very, very long, and it depends on the journey. Like every collection is just so different, and when it comes to like prototyping or whatsoever, it takes a while. And like if you could see from like this particular thing, these are actually collages. So when you start designing while you're researching, because you can work on that at the same time, like you can, if you're too tired to design or whatsoever, you can do the other thing. So throughout my MA, that's when I realized how changing the scale of your sketches actually makes a difference, because you're kind of more free to move around. And I guess like throughout my whole fashion design journey, from when it was my undergrad, I had this specific struggle, which was the fact that I knew construction limited me in terms of design, because I'm just like, oh no, it's too hard to sew, because I was the one that was gonna sew it. So I was just like, oh, let me take that out. Oh, I don't want to do this because it's complicated. But then I want to do it. But then, oh, sewing that is gonna be hell. Drafting that is gonna be hell. Um, like, now in my masters, it's like, no, just embrace the process and like try, like really try. And like from here, I will get it. I would suggest, like, when it comes to designing as well, you could drape. So that means if you have a mannequin, or whatever you would call a mannequin, whether it would be a chair and then you like the silhouette of the chair, of the garment on the chair, or draping it on the chair, trust me, it can get very conceptual depending on what kind of collection you want to do. But or you could be prototyping different things, like for example, for me, I work with textiles, so I would take images or photographs of certain textiles, and then I would make a collage. So for example, I started with this particular collage. So this is an A3 size paper, but then it's really up to you. I work with A3 paper, tracing paper, black paper, and then white ink, but then that's up to you. So you just let your mind really and your hands talk, because for me, after a while, I was more my professor also mentioned that my sketches got stronger once I started doing collage work, because obviously I was just letting my hands do the work and I wasn't thinking. It was more of a very relaxing process. So I feel like for you guys, it could be a good exercise that you guys can do. And the thing is, collage work isn't just limited to paper. I mean, you could also do collage work on the computer if you want to, but since I'm a very like hands-on person, I prefer like this like scrapbook style. So from here, if you could see, like I got this huge scale and I started designing from there. Tracing paper really helps, because obviously if you want to get or capture the specific shape that you want to use in this collage, then you'll be able to do it with tracing paper or whatever thin paper. And you can get creative, like you can use baking sheets, whatever is available in your home. Or if you have a light box or you have a window, you can use normal paper on a normal paper, and then you just trace through the windows, because that's what we also do. And since I didn't want to keep using a big scale thing, I ended up drawing small scale. Well, not really small, but then I captured the specific like silhouette I wanted to use from this particular piece. And it's like, don't be afraid to go beyond the lines, because obviously like a lot of lines changed. If you could see, like a lot of the lines changed, and just keep developing and developing specific things. And then when you're happy with that particular look and how you want to present it, then you can finalize and start doing technicals. So technicals are more of the things that you give out to people so that they understand your design. Because obviously, if you're the one drafting your clothes, then that's like everything is in your mind. But then if you're a designer who has a brand and then you have manufacturing, then they're gonna need help. So you need to have a paper or a technical sheet that will prove so. Another tip, I guess, that I would give in terms of like developing a collection is obviously to make sure, or like, since you embrace it, all the more that you'll get new ideas. Even if you feel that it's like, what? Why am I going down this road? Like, that's so odd. And you're just like, I don't know why you question yourself. You're just like, huh? But my topic is this, or my inspiration is this, but why is what I do what I do? So the most important part is to annotate. So when I mean annotate, it means like you you question what you're doing. For example, if I were to look into something and I I I have this inkling towards, let's say, dried petals or lavenders or whatsoever, which is part of my current project. I'm looking at the laptop to show you guys. So, for example, with lavenders, like, why am I so inclined to lavenders? And it made me realize, oh, like, once I started researching, I was just like, oh, that's the reason why. It's because my topic revolves around this, and lavenders directly link as a symbol for it. So there's just that, what you call like a designer intuition, and it's important to note down or annotate it, because that all the more you will understand yourself. So it's really like, that's what I meant when I say trust the uncertainty, because you never know where you're gonna arrive. So embrace it, because it could be a happy accident, and then you never know, because of that happy accident it will lead you somewhere else, which like strengthens your collection as a whole. So that's yeah, it's a very long process indeed, but then honestly, like, it it hones you as a designer, and it kind of, at the same time, it lets you question yourself as to, oh, what do I believe in, like, what do I want to convey. And it gives you that it gives you that sense of direction as well. So when you start your own collection, just keep it calm. Don't straight away think about the end result. Like, if you have that image in your head that, oh my god, my collection is gonna be this, girl, you haven't started. So do your process first, and you will realize more things, and you will end up growing from it. And then once you finish, or you already like developed your collection, you're just like, that's why, and that's why, and that's why. So embrace the growth, and embrace like the overall process, and embrace like everything about what you do, because pace, like, if you get pressured that, oh, she's doing everything already and I'm just still here, and it's more about managing your time, but at the same time, don't let yourself get too burnt out. So yeah, just enjoy it, because like, it's really, really a fun thing to do. And I personally like love to research a lot, and prototype, and develop, and all that. So yeah, like, all I could say is, you will grow and grow and grow, and it's never gonna stop. You're gonna keep learning, and at the end of the day, you become a new person after every collection. So yeah, I hope this is a very chatty video. This is like, what, it's already 19 minutes long. And yeah, if you still made it here, I'm really glad. I hope you enjoyed that food of yours, or you had a workout and then you're just listening to me. It's fine. But yeah, I'll stay tuned for the next video. Probably I'll be talking about in depth of broadening your research, or what I do when it comes to my creative process. Or like, yeah, so there you have it. I will see you guys on the next, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you guys have like more questions about the different what do you want in this design diaries, or whatsoever I call it, leave it down below, and please do subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you on the next. Bye.